Jed was talking about how he's developed this relationship with Jaden, where you can kind of maybe shake him off sometimes. They have built that trust. How have you observed that whole relationship evolving?
Yeah, I think Jed's always been a guy that can, great communicator. So, and knowing that the quarterback's got the best seat in the house for seeing what's going on. So I think it's great that those guys can, play off each other if needed.
Where do you think Jaden's improved the most since he got here in January?
Really, in his communication's been great. He's done a fantastic job of, showing, letting us know what he sees out there, and being able to communicate that, which is, I think it's really important.
Johnny, Jed mentioned he saw some improvement in the defense after watching the film, tackling, the amount of third downs he had against USC. What did you see?
We play sound football, assignment football. Guys knew where they needed to be, and, they rallied to the ball. They played hard. That was a good football team we played, and I thought our guys handled themselves pretty well.
Do you feel like you guys got more pressure without blitzing in this game than maybe in some of the other ones?
Yeah, we did. We had our maybe 5 chances to get to the quarterback, and obviously he's a mobile guy. I mean, you look at the film in the past, he's always, avoiding the rush and stuff like that, but we had our opportunities.
What was the benefit to playing more DBs in some sort of formations?
Because they get intent personnel and they're a vertical attack team, so, to put more DBs in there, utilize our speed to cover those receivers they had.
Do you see having those 7 guys rotating at the regular 3-4 positions now?
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. You're going to see it more and more.
What do you call that package?
Dollar. Yep. You have nickel, and then you have dollar, and then you have base. So there's, elephant. I mean, we got all sorts of package. You get the right guys in place.
So you mentioned there were maybe 5 opportunities where you could have gotten to the quarterback and didn't. Sacks have been lacking in these 4 games that you've lost in the Pac-12. Also turnovers. Are those 2 things connected, and how can you generate more?
Our guys know that we need to get some pressure on the quarterback, and then obviously we got to go to practice and continue to develop them, and concentrate on a couple of moves and not try to have 5 different moves, you know what I mean? Focus on what you could do. Everybody's different, so that's going to be the challenge moving forward.
During the first half against USC, I forget the number, but you guys gave up 9 first downs on third downs, but then you improved that in the second half. Where did you see the difference between the 2 halves?
It was more 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. It's a hard game to call when you're in that situation, but later on we were a little bit in, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, made it more manageable to call the game.
You went a little bit deeper with some of the freshmen. Can you talk about what you saw in film for some of the younger guys that got expanded opportunities this week?
Yeah, we started, 3 true freshmen, versus number 18 in the country, and I thought those kids handled it pretty well, and then a couple of guys came in and did a nice job. So, I'm looking forward to continuing to develop those guys and continue to get better and, and build around some of those guys.
How will the experience that they're gaining now help them in the long run?
Oh, there's no doubt. The only way you can get better is by playing. And for those guys to have those quality reps versus good teams, we had faced in the last 3 weeks, it's going to help out moving forward.
In that same vein, Brennan, do you anticipate activating or rotating in any freshmen or guys who haven't played much on the offensive line?
Possibility. We're always competing, and guys are always fighting to get spots, and we've kind of changed up our rotations in practice. Luckily, we've stayed pretty healthy, so we haven't had to do too much of rotation, but it's a possibility, yeah.
Who has developed or improved the most, would you say, over the course of the season among that second group?
Yeah, the developmental guys. Wendell Most done a great job, coming on. He got here late in the summer. And then, so really he's had the most to learn as well. So, but he's done a great job for us.
I noticed when you lined up during pregame, it looked like I think Jacob Reese was on the left and Borjan was on the right. Is that where you envision those guys?
Yeah, that's what we're practicing. In long term, we're just trying to get through the season right now. But I want those guys to be versatile, be able to play both sides. So I don't know. Now that you said, I might switch it up for pregame.
What did you see from Utah's front on film?
Really strong, physical. They've been playing a system that they're really used to, and they've been running there for a long time. So they've got a lot of answers to a lot of things. yeah, tough. They're all tough players. You know, they'll fit the runs well. They try to cover like crazy, put a lot of man coverage. So it's a good thing we get to go try to go attack those guys. Fired up to go for the matchup.
USC seemed to have several times where they had someone coming off the edge that got towards JD really quick. Was that about their scheme, or were those breakdowns?
No, he was hot a couple times, and there was a couple times when the guy was rushing free, and we had huge plays off of it, and so the one time he got sacked, he has to throw his hot response, and they jumped the hot response, so he, as opposed to throwing a bad ball that could have got picked off, he took the sack. So, you know, to handle that, we can switch the protections, and there's a lot of ways to answer that if we need to.
You mean someone that's not being blocked?
Correct.
Jen mentioned how he's seen Jacob kind of develop as a leader, more vocal leader out there on the football field. What have you seen out of him over the last couple of weeks?
He's really been, I mean, he's growing up. You know, he's one of our main guys. You know, he's very vocal with the older kids, and I think they starting to, you know, follow his leadership, and so I'm very proud of where he's at right now.
How does a freshman develop that? Because that isn't something that usually comes easy for him.
I think the program that he came from, you know what I mean, high school, I think their coach has done a great job, you know, having him at being a leader of defense, and I think he's more comfortable in that role right now with us on our defense.
Johnny, it was a game-time decision last week on Cam Rising, whether he was going to start. We still don't know confirmation. How do you prepare? How's it affect?
We're preparing for him to play, so moving forward, you know what I mean? So nobody knows who's going to play, but we're preparing for both quarterbacks.
Is it same for like whether Kincaid plays or not, or whether Thomas plays or not?
It's just like last week. We prepared for both receivers and they didn't play, so we're preparing. We're not going to change our game plan, so that's how we're moving forward.
From your perspective, coaching in the Pac-12 for a long time, what makes Utah as successful as they are?
They've been in the system for a long time. The quarterback's been in the system for a long time. The coordinator's been there. So everybody, you know, the staff's been together for a very long time. It makes a big difference.
For both of you, it was a relatively clean first half penalty-wise. Second half, there was some costly penalties. How do you address that with the offense and the defense?
Well, obviously, you know, some of the penalties, you know, you can't eliminate. I mean, it was just questionable calls, but, you know, and then some that we got to, you know, teach from it and learn from it. Just don't put yourself in that situation.
Did you talk to Jerry about that play specifically?
I was right next to him, right next to him. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Because it was critical. That was 3rd and 8.
Yeah, of course. Brendan, do you expect Josh Donovan to start this week, or are you just going to?
He's got a chance to start. We'll see how it goes. You know, with his rehab, he got in there a little bit this past game, so that was good to see. Get back on the field, and we'll see how this week goes. So there'll be some you know, answers later in the week with that one. And in terms of the penalties in the second half, we just got to have we got a holding penalty. We just got to have clean hands. We had the right thought to drop our hands as the quarterback broke the pocket. We just did it a hair too late, so they flagged us on that one.
How do you think Sam filled in for Josh there in the starting?
Sam did solid. He was okay. He had some issues too, but you know, he performed like he'd kind of performed all year. So you know, it's good to have that consistency.
I remember there was a play we asked you about earlier in the season, a goal line play, and you said there were like multiple things that went wrong that led to it not working. The play where
gosh, a lot of things went wrong.
the play where Wiley got mixed up for the 7-yard loss, was that one of those multiple things, or was it one thing?
Yeah, there was more than one thing wrong with that. We got beat at the point of attack, which is never good, and you know, I need our guys to come through on that one, and I got to coach them better so that they can be better in that situation. Really, technique-wise, it falls on me for them, you know, not having that exactly the way we needed to. So, yeah, they got us on that one, and there was a really bad play on our part.
I don't know how much stock you put into Pro Football Focus's grades, but if you look at them, like your pass blocking grades are a lot higher than the run blocking grades. Are yours similar to that?
Yeah, but to the point of how much stock is put into that, is not a lot. Sorry, sorry to the PFF guys if any of you guys are here right now. Sorry. Yeah, the way I grade our guys, we're pretty close. in both pass rush and run, or against the pass and against the run blocking. Sorry, ask your question again with about how what stock do we put into it? I don't know. We got a lot more reps throwing the ball right now. I need our guys to be good on both, and I think that we've improved in both areas, but we still got a long way to go. Our guys got to get better technique wise and just trusting it, and in pass pro, just trusting the sets and not oversetting, and it really comes from just belief in the technique and knowing that you can block a guy and you don't have to go overset or overreach to go get somebody.
Where are the areas you feel that the run blocking has improved?
Our guy pad level just from off the top has been better than it was. If we're going to compare it to last year, which we don't do that, but our guys are moving better, and it's a testament to our strength and conditioning staff that have gotten our guys ready to play. Josh Donovan's a better athlete than he was last year. Peyton Fair's a better athlete than he was last year. Josh Baker's a better athlete than he was last year. So, and Jordan's made huge strides as well too. So those guys have done fantastic. And even Jonah is better than when he got here. He's down 25, 30 pounds and moving great. So you're able to do more things when the guys are just better athletes. So we've been able to add to that point. We've been able to add more schemes than we did last year and have more different concepts. And we like having that variety.
Johnny, where have you seen Takario and Ephesians grow the most since they got here?
Just understanding the football and the game of football, you know what I mean? And he's so gifted. Those guys, man, when you look out there, there are not too many guys in our league that looks like both, him and E. He could cover ground. He's long, exactly what you're looking for in a corner. But Coach Walker's done a great job teaching him the game of football,
And how important are these reps for, obviously, you want them to get experience this year, but for next year, having building blocks on that side?
Now they're confident they could play. They play in big games before, so it's not going to be something new to them. So putting them in a game is not going to be, we're not questioning when they go in, putting them in there, competing against USC receivers, which I thought was some of the best ones. That's going to help them moving forward.
A couple of press conferences ago, you talked about the challenges of facing different offenses week in and week out. What does Utah present that's different from USC?
Well, we're going back to big, the power play, the counters, the 12 personnel, 13, 3 tight ends in the game. Where I haven't seen that in a while, So that's the challenge moving forward. Is just make sure we have the right package, for those situations when they come, because last week they played more 13 personnel than they have all season long. So we got to be prepared for everything.
We've talked about Jacob Manu and Prysock was someone that Jed said last week he's going to play more. Ty being in the starting lineup was a bit of a surprise to us anyway. What has he shown you over these last couple months that's enabled him to move up the depth chart?
I think the guy, you practice well all week, you're going to play. I'm not afraid to play the young guys or the older kids. It's the best guy, and how he's prepared throughout the week is going to be the guy that's going to start for us. It could be anybody.
You guys rotated in this game more than you had in any previous game. Did it just take time for those guys to build up their bodies and for you to build up trust in them?
Yeah. As a staff, that was a decision we made that we need to play more guys to keep everybody fresh. When you look at, Jalen and Hunter playing so much ball, man, and then you ask these kids to rush the passer, you need to be fresh in order to get those things done, So that's the biggest thing moving forward is trying to play more guys up front.
How did the bye week help you to implement that plan?
Well, the bye week we just focus on fundamentals and technique, and going back to trying to get the ball back and all that kind of stuff. That's what the bye week is for.
For both of you both coached in the conference, obviously, before. Talk about going to Utah and the challenges and the excitement of playing on the road in Utah.
Oh, it's tough. When Utah got in the Pac-12, we opened up. I think that was the first game against Washington, and you can see the fan base, man. It's a tough place to play.
This is my first time going up there, so I'm kind of excited to see the environment. I know they're gonna have a great crowd, and our guys got to match it and battle our tails off. Kind of excited about it.
Jacob Cowing, last question. Jacob Cowing Came in with, had a resume already. T-Mac had, all these, he was very highly touted. Singer kind of under the radar a little bit, doesn't feel like he's under the radar anymore after some of these breakout performances. What has impressed you the most about what he's been able to do?
Yeah, really his development and, his attitude, coming in as a walk-on, having to earn a spot. And then, just working through last year and getting bigger, faster, stronger in the offseason. And he's still got more to go. There's a really high ceiling for the kid. He's just going to keep growing and getting better. So really excited about, how he competes. And he's obviously, you guys have watched him catch the ball, okay? So, we've had to mention to the refs that, our guys are going to make great catches, and you can believe it, and you don't need to review out all of them. So, when they make those plays, we just keep playing.
That's our time.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.